moly, Jim that boat.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Rhino.
Holy moly, Jim that boat.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Rhino.
Give it to me
Friday.
again.
Giving you another episode of the King's Court. What's going on? Ryan in Sacktown with you. What's everybody doing? You ready for Friday? Did anyone recognize what happened in Oklahoma City last night? I've got thoughts on it. I don't know what is going on with the NBA. I mean, I love physicality. I love working for baskets, but this is getting out of control. So we'll talk about it as the show goes on. We've got NBA draft news, which we'll get to, as well as the draft lottery coming up on Sunday. Napes is going to be here at 7 o'clock. Join him for Open Forum. And yes, it is Friday, which means we have the wrestling segment. Which means
toxic.
Adam will be here. Maybe a special guest, too. We'll get to it in a few minutes. You remember before the playoffs started with the Knicks and the Sixers, Joel Embiid was asking the fans, you can do this, you can do that, just don't do this one thing.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. We got a much PG, much better team than we had at that time. So it's going to be a fun series. The Garden, I just have a message for our fans. Last time we played the Knicks, it felt like this was Madison Square Garden East. So we're going to need the support. Don't sell your tickets. This is bigger than you. We need you guys. The atmosphere that we've had the last couple of games in Philly, especially the last one, pushing it to Game 7. I mean, we need all of it.
So that was Joel Embiid. He is going to, quote, give it a shot tonight. But it spurred me to pick up my phone and see is there tickets available? What's the get-in price? And I'm not stupid. Yes, there's going to be tickets available for any game. There's a lot of tickets available for this game. Do you remember Knicks fan last postseason? It kind of got a little out of hand. Like postseason Knicks fan is just a completely different breed. Do I need to remind you of how many times we listened to this last season?
New York Knicks run New York City. Bing bong.
Tell me a little something, KD. Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks?
I have a feeling Knicks fan is going to run Philadelphia tonight. As I look at the prices, cheapest price to get in the door, $164. And as I said, a decent amount of tickets left. You can sit lower level, mid-lower level on a corner for $327. What's the atmosphere going to be? Is it going to be New York East? Or would it be New York East? It'd be New York Northeast, correct? Yeah, I think so. Anyways, don't quiz me on my geography right now. As always, get up in there here on the show, here for wrestling. Adam will be here later. You know, me trying to control Adam, sometimes it's hard. Finchy here for the wrestling. What's up, Athena? How you doing today? That's right. Adam is gone. Adam's gone. Mark Uso will be joining me today. We don't know what happened to Adam, but Mark Uso is going to be in the house. So speaking of last night, let's talk a little bit about the games. James Harden, tough game again in the postseason. I'm not going to lament on what happened previously in his postseason career, but he has got to be better with the turnovers. You have to be better with the turnovers. You can hit the scoring, you can hit all that, but much like Jalen Brunson at the end of last game against the Sixers, they were doubling Harden all the time. And it's still one of those things to me in the NBA where if we're watching on TV, I can see somebody coming from behind to try to steal the ball. How is it not being called out by the teammates? If you're in the NBA, you have to catch that. But James Harden, tough night again. Now, as for Oklahoma City and the Lakers hung in there. In fact, the Lakers had first time, I believe it was the second quarter of that game, that they had outscored the Thunder in a quarter. It was either the second or the third quarter off the top of my head. And it was a physical game. At one point, you thought Austin Reeves' arm had been ripped off by Ronda Rousey or SGA or whoever was guarding him. Here's my problem with what happened last night in OKC. It is getting to the point, physicality-wise, that the basketball game cannot catch a flow. Like last night was closer to a UFC fight than it was an NBA game in Oklahoma City. And it hasn't been that way across the board in the playoffs, but you just couldn't. And then finally, when you do get a little bit of a flow, Lakers are done. I mean, these guys have been playing 82 games. Now you're in the playoffs and they are spent. And yes, there is a decent amount of flopping going on, but the fact that we're in the second round of the NBA playoffs and players are still trying to get a feel for what is and what isn't a foul is a little striking to me. So turn up the physicality. I'm good with it. Make guys work for buckets. I'm good with it. Don't let guys flop. Good with it. But I also want to see decent basketball. Am I alone in saying there was zero flow to last night's game? I don't think so. And now everybody's making a big deal about what JJ Redick had to say last night. Here was JJ Redick after the game.
Well, I talked about it a little bit yesterday, them being +9 in the non-shade minutes. And then, in the second half, we just got blitzed, 32-14, 7 turnovers. They shot 14 free throws during that stretch. So we'll look at lineups. We'll look at everything, try to figure out how we can be better in those minutes.
You said you expected Austin to have a bounce back. What did you see from him tonight?
I thought he did a good job, touching the paint, and those touch shots were there tonight. Got some good looks from three. He played a solid game. Obviously, he had 5 turnovers, but everybody on our team had turnovers. You can start seeing like some trends here, and we probably need to go back to the 2 keys we had against Houston, which is take care of the ball and box out, because it's not on high volume, but they've killed us in both games. Every time they've gotten an offensive rebound, they've scored.
JJ, you got a technical in the first half. Multiple players had really long, extended conversations with refs. What was sort of at the core of those frustrations tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I sarcastically said the other day they were the most disruptive team without fouling. I mean, they have a few guys that foul on every possession, and all the good defenses do. SGA gets like I don't even know, a touch foul, I guess, on the drive. There was a stretch where 4 straight possessions, our guys got absolutely clobbered trying to make an entry pass to Jackson, and Jalen Williams is grabbing his jersey with both arms. That's a turn. They're hard enough to play. They're hard enough to play. You've got to be able to just call it if they foul, and they do foul.
So again, the playoffs are going to be more physical. They just are. But if you go back, maybe you caught it during the game. Guys are shoving, 2 arms extended. JJ talks about the grabbing. And by the way, it went both ways. SGA had 4 fouls. He had 3 fouls in the third quarter, had to 3 fouls in this, I believe, in the first half. And then he got his 4th foul early in the third quarter. You've got to find the middle ground. And right now, the NBA and the reffing, it is so far off balance. At least it was in this game, to the point where after the game, Austin Reeves goes up and has basically a drawn-out conversation with the officials. It looks like a football huddle, and you've got Braun standing there not saying anything. Here's how NBA on Prime summarized it.
They are on a 7-game playoff winning streak going back to Game 7 of last year's NBA Finals. And the Lakers wanted to spend a little extra time with the officials before heading to the locker room. 125 to...
As they did. So where do you come out on that? Again, I don't know how many times I can say it. I love the physicality. I'm good with the physicality. But when it is so blatant both ways, and you almost are wondering if you're watching basketball, you got to find something in the middle. You really do. You got to find something in the middle. So we can talk more about the games last night. We can also talk about the games tonight. You've got the Knicks, as we talked about, in Philadelphia taking on the 76ers. After that, you have the Spurs and the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards says he's good to go. Some people are putting him at about 70%, saying that he would not play if this was the regular season. Take it for what it's worth. I do know this. It has been rowdy as heck in Minnesota this postseason. How will the Spurs react to that? Will they be able to play Wemby physically? We'll see. Looking forward to that one. The Spurs, I don't know what the Spurs off the top of my head. Their record is 2-0, I guess, on the road because they swept the Trail. Oh no, did they sweep the Trailblazers? Now I'm second guessing myself because it's a Friday. It has been a week. Anyways, it's going to be a different ball game for the Spurs tonight in Minnesota. Did anybody catch Skip Bayless on First Take today? Anybody set the alarm early? Like, I can't wait for Skip Bayless to go up against Stephen A. Smith. No, either did I. I don't think anybody cared. Now, here's the thing. When you start doing stuff like this on social media, this was Skip Bayless yesterday, and I want to ask an honest question. We're going to go back and forth here. Is this Skip Bayless or is this the Ultimate Warrior? Listen to Skip trying to hype this up yesterday on social media.
Yep. It's happening. Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, ESPN. Stephen A. Smith and I are reunited on First Take. For the first time in almost 10 years, we are going to be together, face to face, on air, and I can't wait. This is not going to be some celebration reunion. Now, do you realize that for 10 years, I have had to sit and wait and watch this man?
So again, Was that Skip Bayless or was that the Ultimate Warrior? I'm not sure. Hold on. Let's go back to the replay. Skip or the Warrior? Hold on.
Yep.
Warrior.
It's happening. Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, ESPN.
Warrior.
Stephen A. Smith and I are reunited on First Take. For the first time in almost 10 years, we are going to be together, face to face, on air, and I can't wait. This is not going to be some celebration reunion.
What is with this guy? He sounds like old Miami Dolphins coach Chris Forrester taping a video to his girlfriend. Holy crap. So hopefully you did not turn into that madness or tune into it. I did not, but Skip, my man, you having some allergy issues. What's going on? Wemby and the Spurs, must watch TV. Appreciate it. Hit the like. Yeah, either would we, Athena. We're making fun of it. Yes. In hockey, there's an unsaid understanding that during the playoffs, the refs don't call anything unless something is egregious. Is that not the same in basketball? There's an understanding in basketball that it gets more physical, and a lot of the I want to say the in-between calls, the 50-50 calls in the regular season that will sometimes be a foul, sometimes will not be a foul. They won't get called in the postseason, but that game last night, the way that the refs allowed the players to play, it completely affected the watching experience, at least for me. And I watch a lot of basketball. I think I understand basketball pretty darn well. And I just didn't get it. I didn't see it. In fact, JJ Redick, do you agree with this or not? Here's JJ a little bit more.
Along those lines, I mean, LeBron has, I think, taken 5 free throws here in 2 games. What have you seen him be like attacking and downhill? And are you surprised he hasn't been able to get to the line more?
Well, he gets clobbered on that one, with Jalen Williams coming over trying to block the shot when he spun baseline on Dort. That was in that stretch as well. LeBron has the worst whistle of any star player I've ever seen. I mean, I've been with him 2 years now. There's, again, the smaller guys, because they can be theatric, they typically draw more fouls, and the bigger players that are, built like LeBron, it's hard for them. But he gets clobbered, and he got clobbered again tonight a bunch. And that's not like a new thing. That's not specific to this crew or this series. He gets fouled a lot. That doesn't happen. I mean,
I don't know where I stand on that, to be quite honest with you. I've been thinking about it since he said it. Does LeBron get a bad whistle? Because he brings up a good point. And not that LeBron is Wemby compared to everybody else, but when you are bigger, like LeBron, if he's playing the guard position, the refs do have to change a little bit in how you're right, Tay. Thanks for picking me up there, in how they officiate. So could he get a little bit of a different whistle? Maybe. Skip Bayless making LeBron number 9 all-time fraudulent. Idiot. See, there you go. Yeah. Too bad. Well, no, I don't want to talk about him anymore. Awful announcing, though. They did come out with their rankings for local NBA broadcasters as voted on by the fans. So 50% of the vote came from the fans, 50% came from, I believe, those within the league. We'll double check that when we read the article. So don't put it in the chat, but where do you think the Kings fell in that? We'll get to it. But as I said, NBA draft lottery this weekend, there are your percentages. And we do have news that I want to get to on Darren Peterson that, quite honestly, I'm not buying. And I want to get your take on it as well. So as you look at the chart, here are the percentages, for the Kings and every other team in the lottery. I would point to two major areas when I look at this. The Kings have a 2% chance of getting the number 5 pick. Utah has a 7.45% chance of getting the number 5 pick. And that's what the coin flip affected right there. That was the difference in the coin flip. And when you look back at the percentages from there, the Kings have an 18.19% chance of getting the 6th pick, a 25.52% chance of getting the 7, an 8.51% chance of getting the 8th, and then a 0.62 chance of getting the 9th pick. Here's what I don't understand. Make it make sense for me. If you are the worst, if you're the 5th worst team in the NBA, record-wise, technically 4th, because you tied for 4th worst and a coin flip changed the odds, why is it that you have a 25% chance of getting the number 7 pick? That doesn't make sense to me. This whole system does not make sense to me. How is your best percentage on the board at number 5 to get number 7? Can anybody explain that to me? Am I reading this wrong? This is how it's always been done since the last tweak in 2019, 2020, which coincidentally is the last year the worst team in the NBA got the first round pick or got the number 1 pick overall. There are reports out there that AJ could DeMonta pull an Eli Manning if the Kings get a number 1 pick. Yes, that is out there. There's also news out there, and here are the picks, by the way, that each team has coming into this one. There was also news today about Darren Peterson. So I want to read this to you. ESPN came out, and I believe it was Ramona Shelbourne. The article is titled, Darren Peterson says high dose of creatine or high doses of creatine led to cramping. If you remember, cramping was an issue all year for Darren Peterson, in and out of the lineup. Sometimes he would come out of games and not come back. Like, when I think creatine, I'm thinking like Dwight Goodman, right? From Globo Gym.
Nice job, Susie.
I'm thinking about the
you bros.
Sit up. Go. No offense if you're one of those bros. All the supplements. What is Darren Peterson doing taking high doses of creatine? And that's not the only thing I'm questioning. So here's the article. Darren Peterson finally has an answer. One of the top prospects. Well, we don't need to read that. Quote, I'd never taken it before college, Peterson said of the popular supplement, which helps to increase muscle strength, power, and growth. Quote, but after the season, I took 2 weeks off and they did tests which showed my baseline level was already high. So they said when I dosed a process of increasing, they explain it, it must have been or must have made the levels unsafe. Peterson, who is ranked the number 2 prospect available in next month's NBA draft, according to Jeremy Wu, said this or his issues started last year with a scary episode after Kansas coach Bill Self's annual week-long boot camp in September that sent him to the hospital in an ambulance. First, his legs started cramping, then his stomach, then his back, his arms, his hands, eventually his whole body. Quote, I made it to the training room and just started begging them to call 911, he said. That's Peterson. Quote, they were trying to get a vein to get me the IV, get me back hydrated, but I was cramping so hard they couldn't even get a vein. So I'm not going to read the entire article, but this makes zero sense to me in this day and age. First off, creatine has been around for a long time. At one time, I think people looked down on it. Now I think it's quite regularly used in the workout community. But how can a school like Kansas that is literally paying a player millions of dollars to play basketball not figure this out ahead of time? I'm being dead serious. Like, if you don't know how universities, just like organizations in professional sports, treat their athletes like assets. At times, for some players, they insure their athletes. With the amount of testing that's going on and with the scrutiny about what can go in and what can't go in your body because of testing that is done by the NCAA, which I can't, don't even start me on the NCAA. How this is not identified sooner does not connect for me. This seems like a very, very elementary starting out thing. You're cramping. Okay, Darren, what are you putting in your body besides medicine? If you're taking any medicine, what are the supplements? If you and I went to the doctor and we said we're cramping, what would the doctor ask us? What are you putting in your body? So unless he didn't disclose that he was taking creatine and didn't want to disclose that he was taking creatine, how do we get to this point where he gets through an entire season with them not identifying it with some type of blood test? Like, isn't that the first thing you're doing? This has to be, in my opinion, somewhere in the middle. There's no way that this kid, and it doesn't appear he was misusing it by any means. He was going, so check this out, quote, "They saw I was in rehab every day before practice, after practice, get massage, trying to all types of stuff. Carb loading because they thought I didn't have glucose or something, electrolytes, liquid IV, LMNT. I changed my diet. I meal prepped, everything I could think of." End quote from Peterson. Doesn't it feel like there's just something missing here? Help me out. I mean, it's been a minute since I was in college, but I know there was pretty strict protocol about these things. And if creatine can lead to cramping, how did Kansas not identify this? There's a hole in the cheese here. That's what I'm trying to say. And I hope for his purposes and his well-being that that is the answer to the question. But there's a side of me that, I'm sorry, and I'm an optimist, I've got to look at the other side of the coin and say, well, is this damage control? Because if I can read this article and I can point out 2 or 3 things that don't make sense about how we got from A to B, I'm sure I'm not alone. Help me out. If you're a creatine user, help me out. What's up, Dorian? Lynn wants a roll call. All right. Sacramento. There you go. Baltimore. Lynn's in Baltimore. There you go. With creatine supplementation, it's important to have sufficient hydration. Flawless sweat from exercise, it's even more important. Again, like maybe I'm being ignorant here. If I am, holler at me. But if it was you or I, not Darren Peterson, who is headed to be a top pick in the NBA, that is Kansas's main guy, how is this not seen before we get to the offseason? It just, It doesn't smell right to me. And again, I hope that is what is actually the problem and it's answered. But the timing of it coming out today before the draft lottery, it's just weird. Caught me a little bit off guard, struck me a little bit wrong. So, where do you stand on it? Holler at me. If you want to call the show, hit us up. I'll put the link in the chat. You can scan the QR code as well. Mark Uso will be joining us to talk wrestling later in the show. Looking forward to that. As I said, once we restarted the show, I've been going through and looking at some of the different moments because this last basketball season really was. It's like I put my head on the pillow and then woke up and it was done. And everything in between happened so fast. 82 games, even when you suck, goes quick, especially when you're covering it. And there were certain points that really stuck out to me during the season, or little things when I would lament on the season that I would remember. And so I've started scrolling through, going through my phone and looking back at some of the more memorable interactions that I was a part of or was around for with players and coaches. And I've got a couple of them today that we're going to share. I want to kick off, though, with Kenny Atkinson. So, Kenny Atkinson is the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. When the Cavs came to Sacramento, it was the debut of James Harden for the Cavs. It was also Keon and Dennis's return to the G1C. And the command of the room that Kenny had, and it was not a very big room, I want to be clear about that, but he just came off different. He hit different as a head coach, and it really stuck out to me after that. And I want to play the clip when Kenny was asked about how he's going to, and this is actually topical now with James Harden and his struggles in the playoffs, how he was going to approach implementing the system in James Harden. Here's Kenny Atkinson.
Their system. So talk about who adapts the most. Do you adapt the system to James? Does James have to fit in? How does that process work?
It's a combination. But I think at the end of the day, the coach's job is to play to the player's strength, not the player play into the system strength. I don't think systems win championships, players do. And I think the conversations that we're already having, and Donovan and everybody else is coming, it'll be some combination of both. We'll meet someone where we meet. Is it in the middle? Is it more there? That'll take time to see. But you know how I think when I came in here the first year, I was like, man, Donovan and Darius, they can't play together, and the two bigs can't play together, and it's like, I just don't look at it that way. I look at it like, man, we got these great pieces. Like, why shouldn't it work? It's more that. Like I said, we'll see where it lands on the spectrum of where everybody's comfortable with how we're playing.
And you talk.
So that was Kenny Atkinson. I thought that was really interesting. I like his approach. Let's kick it to the phones. Our dude in SoCal, Tay, what's up, man? You there, Tay?
Hey, Ryan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, brother. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to hear from you. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, just so glad to see you and Grant back on the platform again. Regardless of where you are, just know that we love you guys.
Thank you, brother. Means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. Looks like the draft is 12 p.m. Pacific time on Sunday, quite early. But
draft lottery.
Yeah, draft lottery. I'm sorry. Just kind of annoyed by the whole lottery situation, specifically with the Clippers, because they can very well mess this up for the whole league.
You're right.
If the Thunder jump up, and ironically, if you're a Clippers fan, you want the Thunder to jump up so that it pushes out the Pacers pick. So in essence, they kind of want the Thunder to steal their draft pick by being in the first top 4 so that they could have the Pacers pick. So just kind of annoyed by that whole situation. Like what were the Clippers thinking? I just feel like they're the most cursed franchise, and they're still paying the debt from the SGA PG trade. So what a disaster.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. You're right. In fact, Brian Windhorst wrote about it today. You just said it. It's the Pacers Clippers paradox. No team's future immediately and in the long term could be impacted more Sunday than the Clippers. They won't have anyone in the lottery drawing room or on stage, but they could be a huge winner or significant losers. Here's why. In the trade deadline deal for Zubats in February, the Pacers sent the Clippers their 2026 first round pick. If it falls within number 5 and number 9, this is a coin flip. The Pacers have a 52% chance of getting a pick in the top 4 and a 48% chance of the pick falling 2 spots, 5 or 6, sending it to LA. It's a gigantic sliding doors moment. So there you go.
Yeah, and I don't know how well what your opinion is, and obviously we won't know until the players suit up in October. But would you agree that the Bonza or anyone else, they're not going to be as good as Cooper Flag the first year?
Yes, I would agree with you about that. I don't think they will, and I think we undervalue what Cooper Flag did. And I know he had some very high moments, a lot of times some mid moments, and some performances that like, oh, I thought he was better. But I don't remember the last time, honestly, outside of a LeBron James, that a rookie stepped into the NBA. Well, maybe Wemby, where they were the number 1 guy on the scouting report from day 1 that season. And that's exactly what Cooper Flag was. He had to play multiple different positions. So I think what he did was a lot more under the radar than people give him credit for. And I think all these guys, maybe Tay, with the exception of Darren Peterson, are going to have a little bit of a learning curve.
Yeah, and even Wemby, I think his first year, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think they made the playoffs.
They did not. You're right.
Nor the play-in. So, I mean, regardless of who the Kings take, even if it's Bonza, I think it's going to take a couple of years for us to even get to the play-in. But just hope that we can get that guy, whether it's Bonza, Darius Acuff Jr., or Boozer. Obviously, all depends on Sunday. So, yeah, I was just annoyed about the Clippers situation and just wanted to get your take on it. So
yeah, well, you know what I'm more worried about, to be honest with you, is this investigation.
with the Kawhi Leonard situation.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to end well for both the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard. I think there is going to be I trust Pablo Torre's reporting a lot, and where there's smoke, there's fire. This could be a devastating setback for the Clippers. It's even something that could push the NBA to push Steve Ballmer out as owner of the Clippers. So we'll see where that all shakes out as well.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because Kawhi Leonard is your guy. He's an Aztec, he's a local kid from Moreno Valley, from SoCal. But, even with that, the Clippers weren't able to bring anything in the last 5 years with them. So what a disaster. So
very true. Very true. Yeah. Well, and it was funny. It's almost like they were resetting at the deadline, right?
Yeah. I mean, they got Mathurin, Jackson, Darius Garland. They try to get younger, but they just wet the bed in the play-in game against the greatness of Steph Curry.
Yeah, hard to go against 30. Hey, Tay, appreciate you, brother. Be well. Have a great weekend, okay?
You too, Rhino. Thank you.
All right, thanks. We go from Tay to Michael Guerrero. What's up, Mike?
What's up? I thought yesterday when I saw the Thunder and the Lakers, it was one of the most poorly officiated games of the year. I don't normally complain about the refs, but my goodness, they were awful yesterday. Wouldn't you agree, Ryan?
100%. It's where I started the show.
You know, I've seen so many missed calls from start to finish. The refs have to be consistent. You know, I saw some missed calls on the Thunder side too. They got to be consistent, both sides. All I want is consistency, and there was none. Would you agree with that also?
100%. You could make that argument across the playoffs that it's been
They have to curb
inconsistent.
down the mechanism of the, missed calls, at least down a bit more.
Okay, they need to, and this is something I've been saying all week. Adam Silver took the physicality dial from 20 to 90.
2090.
You've got to turn it back a little bit closer to 20. Now, it always goes up during the playoffs, but we're at the point, like last night, to your point, that game could not catch any type of flow. I mean, guys were shoving. It was
flopping. I saw the flop.
Flopping
Alex
too.
Caruso flopped it.
Exactly.
Chet Holmgren flopped. My goodness, that was awful call.
Great point. And the refs kind of did Chet Holmgren a favor when they did the review on that. I thought that could have been a T for flopping. They didn't.
That should have been a technical. My goodness.
Yeah. So, hey, Mike, appreciate the call, brother.
Yeah.
Great insight.
It's rare for me to get this upset to the refs, but I'm just trying to, keep it cool. But
I just want to see good basketball, and that
just
was not good basketball. You can't let the players get to that level. Like, you just can't. And I guarantee you, if they do that for 7 games, whoever comes out of that series is going to be worse for it. So
I just want a fair game. That's all I want.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you. Good stuff from Mike. Appreciate the calls. Those will start ramping up. Oh, here we go. I was waiting for this. Jenkins from the Pistons and Jared McCain, both 6-man on rookie contracts, balling out in the playoffs. No way Monk making 20 mil as 6th man is being traded. I think you asked this to Grant last night. Okay. So what the Pistons have done with Jenkins, very similar to what the Kings did with Keon Ellis and then traded him. That is what teams have to do to stay competitive in the CBA, to be able to use their money in the right spots. But on the flip side, it does not eliminate, in my opinion, certain teams who value a guy like maybe Malik Monk per se at $20 million, especially if that contract's expiring, Mr. Perfect. This is the last year of Malik's contract. I want to say there might be an option on the back end. I have to double check it. We'll pull it up in a second. So I think there is still some value there. It just has to be the right team. But I also don't think trading Malik Monk is the answer here in Sacramento. I think you're looking in the wrong places to shed that salary. I want to continue on the path that Tay brought up, because Brian Windhorst did write a really good article about some of the things in this draft and draft lottery that could dramatically shift the NBA. Tay brought up the Clippers. So we'll get to that article in a second. But first, let's go to my man Lynn in Baltimore. What's up, Lynn?
What's up, Ryan, man? So
how you doing,
brothers?
brothers?
On TV to go watch the Spurs game. Unfortunately, it's on Prime.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. How did Prime get the TV contract stolen from TNT? TNT had the first right to refusal. They matched it, and the NBA still gave it to Prime Video, which caused the Inside NBA to go NBC, which was a horrible year this year with those guys. Man, what is going on with the NBA doing this with Prime Video and going to a area where there's hardly nobody's watching the games?
Hey, Lynn, it's the new way that games are being distributed. I've met 2 categories of fans right now that either love it or they hate it when you have games overlapping. You bring up a great point, though, about TNT having the first right of refusal. That actually ended up in court, and then it was dropped. And I think a lot of it had to do with Inside the NBA, and that's about when you heard the announcement that Inside the NBA was going to be moving to ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, to me, sports like this is driving me up the wall where they go behind these paywalls. I mean, it just, come on. You want to stay away from going there, but all these sports are just chasing the mighty money. So it's very frustrating. I want to watch the Spurs. I can't even watch them while I'm waiting for my son to come in from DC. And I couldn't even watch my Indy qualifying because it's rained out. So, well, I'll continue to listen to you today. And how
Appreciate
did
you,
the
brother.
Thunder get 2 picks in the top 17? I'm looking at your little chart there. That is insane how those guys are just going to get better and better and better.
Sam Presti's a wizard. No other way to put it. He has done an incredible job. And don't look now, but San Antonio has quietly built up a nice, well, San Antonio and Memphis have built up nice war chests as well. So, all right, brother. Appreciate
All right,
you. Be
last
safe.
thing I want to talk about
Oh,
Sam
yeah.
Presti is you got to remember who he learned from.
Who did he learn from?
He was under RC Buford's. He was the number one guy under RC.
Good job by you. He is a descendant.
Back in the dynasty years of the 14 years with Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili.
Good
Presti
job
was the
by
number
you,
2 guy
man.
behind him. See you later.
All right, buddy. Love hearing from Lynn. Lynn's going to be our racing guy. He is trying his best to drag me into the world of racing. As he said, you've got the Spurs and the T-Wolves capping off tonight. But before that, it is going to be the Knicks and the 76ers. Embiid's going to, quote, give it a go. Per ESPN Draft Lottery Sunday, we've got Awful Announcing coming out with their local announcing rate or their local announcer ratings. How about that? We're talking the lottery as well. We've got wrestling coming up with Mark Uso in just a little bit. Oh, Lynn wants to hop on one more time.
Oh, man.
What's up, Lynn?
I accidentally did that by accident. I'm doing this. I'm leaving. Sorry about that.
No worries, brother. I give Lynn that respect. Great caller on the Fox show. Glad we cross paths. Jerry and I talked about this at lunch earlier this week. I saw a chart that somebody put out, and maybe somebody that's listening or watching saw it as well. But if you wanted to watch every single NBA game that was on the different apps, not including League Pass, I want to make that clear. But if you were able, excuse me, to watch all of those games, it costs you close to $350 in subscription fees between Peacock, Amazon Prime, ESPN with their subscription. If you don't have cable, that's insane. That is a lot of money. Uh-oh. I don't know if this is on purpose or not. I am surprised I didn't get hit with this earlier in the show.
Memories bring back your.
Buying out Adam Levine would suck, but it would be meaningful. Yes, Mr. Perfect. It would be meaningful for this year. That's it. That's why I don't see them buying him out or stretching him. If the Kings were in the position to make that big jump this year, then maybe you consider it, but they're not there. So worst case scenario, Adam Levine, as all of you have decided, not me. I know his name's Zach Levine. Y'all have decided his name is Adam Levine on this show. So
Memories bring back your.
Here's the thing with him. If he's not playing well this season, and assuming he's here, and he's going to opt in, all indications, including Bobby Marks talking about it yesterday, said he's going to opt in. Sit him down. This is about the youth. It's the last year of his contract. Sit him down. You've got to play the young guys. And I'm not saying you sit him down in the first couple of weeks of the season, but if we get to the All-Star break and things are in the same spot or near that spot, sit him down. You try to get off of him, maybe a team, and you can pay some of that, come up with a deal to get him someplace as a rental for the second half of the season and the playoffs. But yeah, you just sit him down. I don't think it'll come to that. I really liked how Zach came into this season. I really liked how he was playing at the beginning of the season. But, injuries and combinations, you get to the playoffs and you hear it, but it's so true that the playoffs are all, and even the regular season, are all about matchups, even more so in the playoffs. So when you are filtering through numerous different lineups, it is a tough ask if you're the Sacramento Kings, which leads me to Doug Christie, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the consequences of this draft and draft lottery, because Brian Windhorst brought up a couple of really good points that I want to get to. Is buying out DeMar a given at this point? Not necessarily. No, not necessarily. But as we got to, this actually was from the same game. This was the Cleveland game when the Kings were not playing very many people. They did not have that many players in uniform. And I asked Coach Christie, and sorry for the camera work at the beginning, I asked Coach Christie, how much different is it for a player, especially a young player, to know that they've got some runway, that they can make a mistake and not get pulled out? They're going to get a lot of playing time no matter what they do. Here's what Doug had to say.
You're going to have a little more runway in front of you, especially in an opportunity tonight. How does that change your mindset? And are you seeing anything anything different out of the young guys with some more runway?
Yeah, it does. It helps because, we told them we're going to live with some of your mistakes. And I know as a young player, when you come in on veteran teams, you make a mistake and you're looking over at the bench like, damn. And that can get, it's like, don't look over here, man. Keep playing. If I need to tell you something, I'll call you. I'll say it. Just try not to make the same mistake twice. Try to learn from what it is that you're doing. Try to communicate. If you have questions, ask those questions. But what we're trying to do with them is all about building confidence. And that confidence allows them to step outside sometimes of maybe what they might do, and let's see what they can and might be able to do, and then we can work on it from there.
That was important then, and I think it's even more important now as the Kings are going to head into next season. I think it's got to be the same way. Now, you, as I said yesterday, still need to mix in the vets, but besides getting players back into their normal positions, I think if I am Coach Christie, my second priority is figuring out the right combinations of the vets with the young guys. You've got to figure out who works best with who. And I really, in my heart of hearts, think that when I'm talking these combinations, it's 2 vets to every 3 young guys. DeMar DeRozan was great when he played with the young guys. He did a really, really good job. And he looked like he was having fun too. I asked him about it at the end of the season. We played it yesterday. He was having fun. So first, get people back into their regular positions. Second, figure out the right combinations. And that's going to take a little bit of time, but Doug has enough tape now on the young guys that are going to be getting minutes outside of whoever you draft to have an idea of what he might want to play with in terms of those combinations. So getting back, though, before we get to wrestling here in a little bit with Mark Uso, again, the draft lottery is going to be on Sunday. Lynn said it at 4 o'clock. There are your odds. At the top of the show, I told you my beef with it, that if you look at the Kings' best percentage per the lottery, it's to get the 7th pick at 25.52%. So riddle me this. If you are the 5th worst team in the NBA, how is, and I'm not doing this as a Kings fan, and it's because we're in this spot, I mean this overall for any team. I'm sure you could find a similar percentage on every single line How is it that you are so out of whack that the 5th worst team, their best odds is to get the 7th pick? That makes no sense. It's a bad system. It's a terrible system. So Brian Windhorst, we talked about the Clippers with Tay. Think about the Hawks. The Hawks last year at the draft were able to acquire the Pelicans' unprotected first-round pick this year, and they traded their pick, which ended up being Derek Queen for the Pelicans. So now the Hawks will get the Pelicans pick. And think about where the Hawks are. Talk about addition by subtraction. That's exactly what happened in Atlanta. You want to talk about pushing the young guys forward? That's what Atlanta did. They gambled on them, and they gambled right. You've got Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's coming up and looking really good there. Obviously, Jalen Johnson, CJ McCollum was kind of the vet that steered them along. They are on the right track. I'm excited to see what the Hawks do. But Brian Windhorst writes, the Hawks opportunity 2 years ago, the Hawks hit a bullseye when they won the lottery with just a 3% chance. They don't own their pick this season. San Antonio does. But after making the playoffs, that pick isn't in the lottery anyway. Still, thanks to an incredible trade last year, the Hawks are very much in the game, coming off of a 46-win season, their best decade. The Hawks will get the better of the Bucks and Pelicans pick, a phenomenal outcome as the return for moving back 10 spots in the 2025 draft in a deal that delivered New Orleans the rights to center Derek Queen, with the odds of the Bucks and the Pelicans essentially combined to juice their overall chances. The Hawks have, get this, an implied 40% probability at landing a pick in the top 4. They have a 90% chance of getting a pick in the top 8. How about that? And then Brian Windhorst goes on to put the quote-unquote flippers, 4 teams that are trying to execute this delicate hedge. Pick up a talented young guy with the same lottery luck and then flip into a winning team quickly. Pressure from fan bases and ownership, fatigued of rebuilding, is definitely playing a role in some of these cases. And these teams aren't that far off. Remember, Washington got Trae Young, who I'm not a big Trae Young guy, but Washington got Trae Young and Anthony Davis, so they are on the list. This is the 3rd consecutive year the Wizards have had the highest odds to get a top 4 pick, and they don't intend to be in the same position a year from now. So they're going to be there. I think the team that is already on track, especially if they get the number 1 pick, they will be better than Portland next year, and they will be better than Phoenix. It's the Utah Jazz. 100% the Utah Jazz. And Brian Windhorst puts the long shots, the Miami Heat. They have just a 4% chance of landing in the top 4, but they are searching for a star in the trade market. Getting some luck could have them looking to cash in. The Golden State Warriors, somebody said yesterday, what if the Warriors get the top pick? Badly in need of a talent infusion after losing Jimmy Butler to an ACL injury. The Warriors were willing to offer their first-round pick in a package for Giannis earlier this season. The Bucks were not interested, so the Warriors kept it. The pick has a 9% chance of landing in the top 4, getting Steph Curry a young running mate that would turn the league on its head. So that's Brian Windhorst with the lottery odds. Some of the things to watch with that. I said it a couple days ago. I think the Kings end up in the 4 spot. Percentages will not tell you that, but I think the Kings end up in the 4 spot. What do y'all think? Where are the Kings going to be? Just remember, if the Warriors get a top 5 pick, the draft is not rigged, right? I know. I think it was you, Icebox, that said that as an alumni of CS US Business Department, How is the freaking lottery set up? Come on, you finish 5th, but the 7th has the highest probability. I know. It's just, I don't get it. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You could pick something like that out for every team that's in the lottery. If you're just joining us, the Kings, who are the 5th worst team in the NBA, have the best probability to get the 7th pick. Friday, there you go. If the Kings don't buy out DeMar for 10 mil, that's depressing. I'm not in a rush to get rid of DeMar, to be honest with you. What's up, BJ? Listening on the clock. Appreciate you, dude. Working in a hospital, doing good work. Important work, indeed. All right, let's get to this before we get to wrestling, because I know this is a hot topic always in this market. Awful Announcing came out with their announcer rankings for this season. We'll see where the Kings ended up. You might be surprised. 30th, Golden State. It's not good, Golden State. Anybody listen to Golden State's broadcast? I have not. That was surprising. Okay. 29, Philadelphia. That hurts. You're in a big market and you're 29th locally. 28th, Milwaukee. All right, fair enough. 26, Washington. Okay. Oklahoma City, 26th. Wow. Most common grade, a C. Interesting. They went from 7th to 26th. So I do not watch Oklahoma City's broadcast, but I have listened to their radio feed, and their play-by-play guy on the radio is a baby. His name's Matt Pinto. He is a baby with a capital B. He doesn't realize who plays on that team and the whistles that they get. Like any little thing, this guy is crying about if they don't get a call. Baby. If there was a radio one, I would have him at 30, personally. 25, Denver. Still no Kings. Still no Kings. 24, Phoenix. Are the Kings going to be number 1? 23, Cleveland. Surprising. 22, Indiana. 20, Detroit basketball. Okay, I don't want to make fun of guys, but look at George. How do you say that last name? Blaha? George Blaha? It's an interesting last name. 21 for Detroit. Utah, number 20. Craig Bolterjack. 19, Orlando. Orlando's radio guy is a baby too. And their bumper music is terribly bad. 18, there they are. Sacramento Kings. Let's see what they had to say. By the way, most common grade, a C. Percentage of ABC graders, 72%. 2024, 25 ranking 10th. So the Kings have dropped. They were 10th in the last couple of years. It says a bit of a drop for this booth after consecutive years in the top 10. The voting pie chart is fairly even across all 5 grades, which means opinions on the booth are all over the place. That couldn't be more true. Some commenters loved how Jones brings the cool factor to the broadcast and appreciated how deep knowledge and great references, parentheses, and they'll have many more years ahead to appreciate them. Christensen was praised for her coach-like perspective and down-to-earth style. Quote, Even in a down year, they make the Sacramento Kings feel like the center of the basketball universe, said a fan. So your Kings are 18th. This one surprised me. This one really disappointed me. I think New Orleans is one of the top booths in the NBA right now. Antonio Daniels is fabulous at what he does. It was so cool getting to talk with him for a few minutes when the Pelicans were in town. That surprised me. I thought the Pelicans would be much, much higher on the list. So from there, we go to 16. Boston, that's another one I thought would be higher. Scalabrine is really good. I like Scal. I don't know about Drew Carter. Never heard him. San Antonio, Sean Elliott. Okay. Miami. Let's get to the top 10. It's got to be New York. Easily. It's got to be New York at number 1, right? 10, the Lakers. Okay, fair enough. Clippers. There you go, Tay. Jimmy Jackson getting the 9 spot with his partner. Minnesota, number 8. Memphis, 7. 6, Portland. What's up, Haunted Horse? 5, Charlotte. Okay. 4, Toronto. Uh-oh. Chicago. Yeah, that's pretty. We do have Stacey King. Stacey King is good. Y'all remember the Stacey King drops? What was Stacey King yelling about? It was so funny. I think, do we still have Stacey King on here? We've got to have him somewhere. We'll find Stacey King at some point. His calls last year were great. All right. Brooklyn, and of course, number 1 has to be the New York Knicks. How can it not be the New York Knicks? The Glide, Mike Breen, Kenny Albert, both of which were on the radio show. That's pretty good stuff. So there are your top 30 local announced teams. Gosh, how bad do the another look? I think the biggest problem that the Kings have with their broadcast is inconsistency. That's the biggest problem. You need to have 2 same people together all the time. Who made the list? There you go. We just went down the list. Did the IRS write the lottery rules? Maybe. They very well could have. No doubt about it. All right. Let's I know a lot of you have been waiting for this, wondering if we were bringing this back. And I acknowledge this is not everyone's cup of tea, but there are a lot of you that enjoy a full pot of what we're about to do. And we have not done this in like over a year. No, it's been about 9 months since we have had a wrestling segment. And I have to give my partner in crime, Mark Uso, some credit, because Mark Uso predicted that the prices for WWE were going to kill the product. And that was well before WrestleMania. So, in fact, I believe it was before last year's WrestleMania. So, for the first time in 2026, oh, wow, we're getting an entrant. Mark Uso joins us to talk wrestling in his Jericho jacket. Do you have a wig on, Mark? Look at this guy.
No wig, sir.
How are you?
This is my real lettuce. I'm great. It's great to meet you, Ryan.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, Mark Uso. I used to have a guy named Adam that came on and talked wrestling.
No, he's dead.
Oh, he is. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, we offed him.
You shouldn't admit that here. You know, you might get in trouble.
Hey, I was innocent. You can't get double jeopardy, so I'm fine.
Oh, you already got tried for it? Did you get tried in this court? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
isn't that where you can usually do it?
What's up, dude? It's been a minute. How are you?
What's up, bro? I'm great, man. It's good to be back and So excited for today and for us to just get back into the groove of all this, man. I'm so excited.
Me too. Me too. Where do we even start? I think we almost need to work backwards because WWE had a lot of roster cuts, reports out there that they are asking some talents to take 50% pay cuts, yet they're asking fans to pay more than ever to go see their product.
Well, don't you want more Jelly Roll and Little Yachty and Pat McAfee? Don't you want more of that?
Is that where all the money's going?
Could be. Yeah, I don't know, man. Not sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say you called this before last WrestleMania. You're like, the prices are stupid. Like this is not going to be able to sustain. And then we get to WrestleMania, which I think with WrestleMania, it's a double-sided coin because they held it in Vegas 2 years in a row. I think you eliminated the casual from attending who attended the previous year because the prices are so high. So you're always going to have the hardcores. They're going to go wherever. Maybe they won't go next year to, what is it, Saudi Arabia? That's going to be a big ask. We'll see. But then they end up, because ticket sales are so bad, they cut prices 25% at them the week of the show.
I think it's a work, bud. I think that, you know, they're going to they cut the prices, what, 5 days before the event? Like, I'd be really curious to see how many people are actually pivoting 5 days notice to go to Las Vegas and attend WrestleMania if they weren't planning to do so already. I mean, you know, flights are already crazy as it is. As you get closer to that deadline, the flights and the hotel rooms, all that stuff goes up. So I don't, like, you probably end up paying more even though they cut the price of the tickets. Like, who cares?
Okay, so that was
for day one.
So that was my point, though. Like, it was completely targeted at the locals. That was the difference between sales between year one and year two. It's like, okay, well, if I'm kind of a casual wrestling fan, I just went to a WrestleMania, something I never thought I'd do again, and damn, did I pay for it. Like, the hunger to go back a second year in a row with a card that's like, okay. And then come to find out, what about the commercials, bro?
It's nonstop. It's like, where does it end? You're paying more in being able to view the product at home, in person. You know, you get, okay, I'm not here to talk bad about the people who got cut, but you know, I'm not that broken up about it. I'm excited for the people that they brought up too, because I think they had a stale product, and I think they needed to do something to shake it up a little bit. And I love the additions of who they've called up over the last couple of months. They've been great. So, yeah, I mean, really, it just comes down to the ticket prices are insane. You know, I took my son a couple weeks ago to the Fort Worth SmackDown, and it's not cheap, man. It's not cheap.
Yeah, and TKO is looking again to keep trying to cut expenses as much as they can. So I wonder what that's going to look like. But to your point about the additions to the roster, for once they didn't get cute with it. They actually brought up the people that deserve to be brought up. Like, if I would have made a list of the people that I wanted up, this was it.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe there's a couple that I would have brought up as well, but they got the right people moved up to the main roster. So it's really exciting. And I understand, like, you got to keep some of those guys back in NXT to keep that product alive too, because the product was really good. I went to an NXT show just before all the call-ups in WrestleMania, and it might have been my favorite show that I've been to. It was awesome. It was a non-televised house show, and I think just the talent there was able to just have fun with the crowd. And I think that's kind of what we're missing out of not having the house shows anymore. So I hope there's a space for NXT to be able to travel along with the main roster and be able to do those non-televised house shows. And maybe you can mix in some of the main roster to work some stuff out. You know, we haven't had house shows in I don't know how many, 5 years, whatever it is. And I think, you know, maybe some of the major injuries that we've seen happen over the last couple of years are due to them not being able to work out. It's the same thing with the NFL. You reduce the preseason games and you see how many injuries did we have last year in the NFL that were major injuries for, you know, big name players. And I think we're starting to see that too with WWE over the last year, 2 years, whatever it is.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, Bronson Reed putting his ankles on backwards didn't have anything to do with being overworked, you know? So like you can point to some of those different things. Freaking Io Sky, like she has 9 lives. She literally has bounced off. She spiked herself 3 times and survived like in the last 5 weeks. What the heck?
Io Sky is the best professional wrestler today.
Men's and women's?
All of them. She's the best. She's the best.
It's a hot take, Marcuso.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's that hot of a take. She's a freaking killer, man. And every time she steps in the ring, she's going to put on a show. She's incredible. I've just become such a huge Io Sky fan over the last year or so.
Okay.
Couple years.
So we have not been on since the Cena retirement. And when we used to be on, were like trying to book that thing. What did you think of the final booking of Cena's retirement?
You know, I mean, overall, I think I enjoyed it. There were some highs, there were some lows, but you know, I'm a huge Gunther fan. It's Adam was a huge Gunther fan. I am also a huge Gunther fan.
Gotcha.
As well. So I just didn't love the tap out. I didn't love the never give up. And he gave up. I understand what they were trying to do there. It didn't hit with me. That's my personal thing, but overall, it was fine. What I don't understand is why John Cena is at WrestleMania again, and then we get to see him tomorrow as well with a huge groundbreaking announcement.
Okay, first off, ticket sales, or why they pulled him into WrestleMania. And second off, it's got to be about this. What is it? WWE like Insider?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Hall pass, whatever the hell they're calling it. I can't remember. But it's just another ploy to get money, in my opinion.
I mean, it has to be something like that, no? Or they're announcing like WrestleMania is coming. You know, it would not surprise me if they're announcing WrestleMania is going to be in Tampa.
A lot of speculation is that they're going to announce that it's going to be in London. Because we've never had one there.
Really?
So that's kind of the big thing circulating around. But that is too good to be true for what they have been doing over the last year. They build these things up just to kind of pull the carpet out, and it's like, oh yeah, here you go. Here's this new exclusive Fanatics WWE Experience fan club that you can be a part of. And
you know what? Okay, I think you're onto something about that because you remember it was a random show and it was before Cena's retirement tour, but I think they were in London. They were overseas, and Cena randomly comes out on the premium live event and cuts a promo about WrestleMania being, I believe, in London or in Europe or whatever.
Right.
I think maybe we're tying this together well, because I mean, there are some major logistical issues to getting to Saudi Arabia. And number two, and probably most important, look what happened at the Royal Rumble. Like, there was a handful of people in the building, even though SmackDown appeared to be full the night before. You can't have that with WrestleMania. It would be embarrassing.
I'm with you. How many people are going to travel to go to that show? Do they have enough people in that region to attend the event? Yeah, there's weird reports from that Royal Rumble. There were people, influencers, who say that the place was full, but when
No,
you
it
were
was not.
watching it on TV, it sure
Place
didn't look
was
that way.
empty.
So, yeah, that's kind of what it looked like to me. So, we'll see. But you cannot, you absolutely can't have a WrestleMania that is not packed to the gills, you know, cheek to cheek in those seats.
I really thought this WrestleMania, they I don't know. They just they treated it like, and you had a couple of WrestleMania moments, but even from the stage, it didn't feel like it was treated like WrestleMania. That was a pretty simple
It's kind of
stage.
It felt like such a stark contrast between night one and night two. And there's rumors online that TKO was night one and Triple H was night two, and how they booked it. Um, who knows? Who knows, right? I don't know if we'll ever get down to that, but who cares? Night two was pretty cool. Night one, I just wasn't a fan. And you're the biggest proponent of this, but the Randy Orton Cody Rhodes storyline did not need anyone other than
Nobody.
Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes.
No,
So
you didn't even need a title.
I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, because you and I have been talking, maybe on the show, maybe behind the scenes, about this build between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, and you were really passionate about this matchup, this feud, and we didn't need the third party coming in here, and I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, it completely for me ruined it. It cheapened it. Like, I almost wish it didn't happen, because you've already gone there once. All you needed was Randy to go back to that heel character. And I get the fans are not treating Randy necessarily as a heel, and I know now is kind of that in between ground, like where guys aren't heels and they're not faces, but you needed him to go to the Viper of his old run when he's RKOing Stephanie and kissing her with Triple H, handcuffed to turnbuckles. And you started to get that, right? Cody says, Randy, I need you to be the best, whatever. And I think that's kind of stupid too, to give him permission to go back to being the Viper. The only little thing that I could see connected between the two with McAfee and Orton would be playing to the punt. Like McAfee, and that doesn't even need to involve Orton and McAfee like in a storyline. That can be a segment, right? And they just ruined it. I don't know. They thought like they how do I put this? They got cold feet because they swerved once on the main event, which is supposed to be Cody, Jacob, and Drew. They went to Randy and Cody, and then they're like, "Uh-oh, is this gonna do it? We got to throw Pat McAfee in wearing my wife's sunglasses." Like, no, like it made me almost not even want to watch it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, I think it's a big onion behind the Pat McAfee involvement with Ari Emanuel being his agent, wanting him to be the next quote Sylvester Stallone. Pat's who he is. I'm not knocking him at all. I really enjoyed him as an announcer for WWE, and he always felt like the fans' perspective of it, right? And I think we always have those sort of like dualities with our commentators and stuff, but he was always excited for the things that we were excited for as fans, and for him to come back out and be like the antithesis of what he was as an announcer felt really weird to me personally. And that's what I didn't enjoy about it. Like, he was the man of the people, and then he comes out here and says, "Oh, we need to get back to Attitude Era and all." Yeah, dude, sure, we can all wish and hope for that, but it's never coming back. So what do we do now, and how do we make this exciting today?
Very true. Speaking of real life, Danhausen, right? Like, I saw him in AEW. Yeah, and I'm thinking like, okay, like I'm trying to understand what the character was because I didn't have the full background. And WWE does this big build of having this shipping box, and he comes out of the coffin at PLE. And this dude is selling so much merchandise and seems to be like a part of so many different angles. Like, this has worked way better than I thought.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you talk about the crate angle at WrestleMania, and to be honest, like the reveal almost felt like if it was a little bit of a dud, or like,
yes,
when he throws that little thing and he gets the little cloud of smoke, like that's what it felt like. And it was so funny. But ever since then, man, the dude has just been on fire. My son's new favorite wrestler is Danhausen. I got him the cursed hat and everything when we went to SmackDown a couple weeks ago, and he loves him. He cursed my mom over FaceTime last week, and my sister, so that was cool. But yeah, he's just huge, and I love the way they're deploying him into these feuds. Obviously, he's got a match tomorrow at Backlash with a mystery teammate against Miz and Kit Wilson. So it's interesting, and I think I love the pairing with Kit Wilson and Miz against Danhausen. I think they can really play off of each other. So who do you think Danhausen's teammate will be? Okay, who do you think it will be, and who do you wish it would be? How about that?
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know he had a match. I don't know. I'm gonna let you run with it. You're better suited to answer. Go.
Here's who I hope it will be. I hope it will be Royce Keys, aka Powerhouse Hobbs. Bro, come on.
He's not doing it for me, bro. He's not doing it for me.
And that's my point, is that, you know, you brought Royce Keys out at Royal Rumble, then he disappeared and is doing dark matches for a month. Then you get a little bit of like these segments, these pre-film segments with Royce Keys, kind of trying to build up his background and who he is as a person. And the crowd just isn't responding to him. But if you throw Royce Keys in a match with Danhausen as his teammate, I think it's sort of like that, sort of like rock and sock connection, right? Like two pieces that don't fit together really. But if you do, I think you could really get Royce Keys over in the way that they're looking to when they brought him in the first place.
Okay. And who do you think it is going to be?
I think it's going to be fucking Jelly Roll, man.
Hey, wait. No F bombs. Come on, bro.
Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Sorry.
It's all right. All good. You think it's gonna be jelly roll, huh?
Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah, you look, Danhausen is super over. Somebody said it. I'm an old head when it comes to wrestling, and I'm enjoying the shtick. I am too. I think you're hurting the shtick if you put him with Royce Keys. I think it becomes too obvious of what you're trying to do, and that's probably what they will do based off of everything that you said. But yeah, it's fun. I'm actually really okay with what Danhausen is doing, and what we didn't get, and I think what the audience didn't get, and where WWE did a great job, was with the debut that you talked about. It was kind of a flop because he's a Chicago guy, and Chicago like really did not react to him well. In fact, they booed him, right?
Yeah.
And so, he does the smoke thing, and you're thinking, oh, that wasn't like that didn't go well. But like as the character is developed, you realize like that's what it's supposed to be, you know?
Mhm.
And so yeah, I just like it a lot. So Obafemi, dude, is he that guy that WWE thinks he is?
I think he is. There's a lot of people who want to rush to make him Roman's opponent at SummerSlam for the belt. I don't disagree with it. I just it might be the right call because he comes in. I mean, the dude's massive. You got to do something with him. I think the problem is that it's too predictable and too stagnant. And so, yeah, bring in a new guy and have him take out your top guy. I mean, that would really shake things up for the landscape of that belt and give it some more clout too. I mean, Roman said it a couple weeks ago, like, I make this belt. This belt is relevant because of me now. And he couldn't be more right. So if he's the island of relevancy, well, maybe there's two people on that island now, and Obafemi's one of them.
Okay, hold that thought for a second. So I want to get back on the Oba train, but because you brought up Roman,
Yeet!
has his career's been driven into the ground, like into the ground.
Roman?
No.
Oh, the Yeet Man?
What have they've driven him into the ground, my man. Like
did they do that?
Well, maybe he drove himself into the ground, but like we're back to anyways. But back to Obafemi. I don't think you put him for a title this soon. I will say it is very rare that WWE wants to build a star while they have a future star. They know that they have it, but they want to build it that way. It's so rare for them to execute this well with Obafemi. It has been absolutely perfect, top to bottom. The example I would use is Finn Balor from NXT. This is what they wanted to do with Finn Balor. He comes out, wins the Universal title in his first match against Rollins, or his first pay-per-view against Rollins, and it just never works from there. Oba, things been perfect. I think what you're probably going to see is Oba and Brock again, except it's going to be an official retirement match at SummerSlam.
No. I think Brock's done. They actually just moved him to the archived legacy section of their website.
I think that's the point.
I think Brock's done, bro. No, I think Brock is done.
You think he's done?
You can't. Yes, you can't recreate that moment with the same feeling that it had at WrestleMania. Paul Heyman's reaction was everything I needed to know about that moment. It was genuine. It was heartfelt, and I think he's absolutely done.
Wasn't Gunther supposed to retire him?
Unofficially, I mean, the ICW would tell you that no, he wasn't done, but I think Brock is done, man.
All right.
And that's okay.
All right.
I would love for Gunther to be the one to retire him.
It doesn't
and
make
Rey
sense.
Mysterio. Yeah, maybe. I don't think it makes sense at this point. No.
Yeah. How you liking things with Fatu?
I love Jacob Fatu.
I love him too.
I think he's awesome. And Sacktown boy.
Kind of.
Well, they announce him as being from Sacramento, so.
You know, on the radio, well, it wasn't on the radio show. I had Grayson Waller in studio.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. And I was supposed to have Maxine Dupree. And the day of, we had a little scheduling snafu. So didn't get her, but she's also from Sacramento as well. She's from Loomis.
Rockland. Yeah.
Loomis.
Went to Rockland High. But that's all good. It's Wood Creek over here, baby.
Wood Creek. We're throwing out our signs. Oak Grove. Anyways.
High school alumni.
Yeah, right. Uncle Rico in it. I like Fatu a lot. I just, you know where this is going. He's gonna lose to Roman.
Well, okay, so you talked about the cuts earlier and all that stuff. We lost just about everyone from the MFTs this past week. So it's just
even
Tonga.
Even the big goofy looking guy?
No. That's Tala Tonga. He is still with us.
So
I'm excited for.
Hold on. They're working us with his name. His name's Tala Tonga. Tala.
That's correct.
All right. Anyways, go ahead.
Tala, not Shota Tonga.
Yeah.
And then you've got Tongaloa, but that's all that's left from the MFTs, along with Solo Sikoa. I think
they should have cut
we're
him.
Gonna see. Well, actually, I think he's making a turn for the better. I think his stock is rising currently.
Dude, you give that guy so much slack.
He's bulked up quite a bit in the last, I don't know, 6 months to a year, whatever it is. He's starting to look the part as someone who could confront Solo Sikoa to run his own bloodline. I think at some point you get some sort of Jacob Fat. It's going to be like NWO versus the Wolfpack or something like that. You know, you'll get Roman.
We've already had it.
Usos.
We've already had it. The new bloodline versus the old bloodline.
I know, but I don't know. We'll see how this thing shakes out, man. But, you know, we go back a few weeks and Roman said something to the effect of, you're going to have to acknowledge me or something like that. I don't know what it was. Or you're going to have to beat me and you can't handle the weight that this title holds. So do I think Jacob wins? No. I think Roman's still going to hang on to it. The question is, who does beat Roman? A lot of people think it's going to be Obafemi.
I think the main event's going to be Seth and Roman at SummerSlam.
Yeah, you had that little moment with those two early in Raw this past week where they just were in gorilla. They kind of like stood side by side and looked at each other. But I think that might be as Hunter would put it, long-term storytelling. It might be a slow burn on that feud.
Okay,
which is fine.
Let me put my player haters ball on.
The most diabolical haters this
Solo
side of the Mississippi.
still looks like a broke ass limo driver with a bad haircut, my man.
Bro, don't even come at me about
I
Solo
am.
Sikoa.
I don't know why you like it.
That dude is pure comedy. He's the most underutilized member on the roster. They put him on TV, but then they put him in a 6-month feud with the no longer existent Wyatt Six on who's going to carry the freaking lantern. So he's the most underutilized roster member, in my opinion. His comedy, his acting, all that stuff, I love what he does. Speaking of which, Logan Paul, I loved what he did last week on Raw. His acting is great. This dude is no longer social media guy, in my opinion. That he's full-time. He's there every week. I think he does a great job in the ring, on the mic. You used to call me a Logan Paul Mark, and you know what? Maybe I am. You used to call Adam a Logan Paul Mark.
No, I didn't. I like Logan Paul.
He's great.
Adam was a Mark. That's what you were. You were that was your guy. I agree with you about Logan. Another guy that could fight for the championship at SummerSlam. What are you guys' thoughts on TKO involvement in creative? Actually, I think Logan's overacting a little bit, just saying.
Sure.
On TKO's involvement in creative, do you guys think it's all TKO or Triple H, or like 50-50? You?
I think Triple H wants to do certain things. But at the end of the day, TKO's the one who has the final say. And it's like any company. You might have some agency in your role within a company, but ultimately, whatever the company decides where the direction's going, you have to go that way and work within the parameters. And so I think that probably the Pat McAfee involvement, the Little Yachty, the Jelly Roll, all that stuff is TKO pulling those levers there, and Triple H has to figure out a way to work within that.
I don't think Jelly Roll, I don't put him in that same category. I mean, dude lost a lot of weight to be able to get in the ring. Like, I think he really has something for the business like Logan Paul did, but unfortunately he's just not, how do you put it? He doesn't have the athleticism. He doesn't have the God-given talent, etc. But in terms of the booking, I think this is low key. It goes back to that Rock Triple H thing. I think you've got a little bit of tinkering going back and forth and some real life heat between those two. And The Rock being on the board, you could make an argument. Go ahead.
No, finish.
You can make an argument. There are some very hard feelings still over WrestleMania 40 with Cody winning the title.
Could be. There's, I think after 39, a lot of people expected Roman versus Rock at 40, and they pivoted. Is there real life tension? Sure. I think no matter what your relationship with your boss is, there's always a subordinate superior tension there. But I don't know. It's hard for me to believe because those guys have had such a history together, and I think a lot of their success was played off of their relationship on screen with each other.
It's literally a real life power struggle, just like it was when they were backstage in the same locker room trying to get to be in the main event spot. Like, honestly, if I had to choose, and I know both of them are not perfect by any means, but if I had to choose The Rock's wrestling mind versus Triple H's wrestling mind, I'm going with Triple H's. I'm not choosing The Rock's. The Rock's got his own creative guy. You know what I mean? Like Triple H to me is a little bit more old school. It's hard to say. That's rude of me to say because The Rock grew up in the business too. I lean Triple H.
Yeah, and I might disagree with you a little bit, or maybe I've just played devil's advocate. Like, as a wrestling fan, who did you enjoy more on screen?
Oh, The Rock for sure.
Right.
But that doesn't. But The Rock was also an enigma. He was one of one. What he was able to do with his character and his charisma doesn't mean that you've got like a great wrestling mind. Look what he's done acting, right? Like he's a good actor.
Yeah. I don't think Triple H does a bad job. Everyone praised him for the black and gold NXT days and everything that he was able to do there. But, you know, now he goes to the big show and people were okay with it for the first couple of years, but now everyone's turning sour. But I don't think that's the full picture. I don't think what Triple H has to deal with is, I mean, that's never going to be broadcast, not even on Unreal. There's pressure on him to do the things that Vince never asked anyone to do.
Lynn, who's sweating through the wrestling segments, he does not like wrestling. Jelly roll, he put row, but he meant roll in wrestling is like Cletus and NASCAR. He's not wrong. Rock is more entertaining in show than wrestling. Yes, that's my point. Triple H is, you know, the wrestling. Rock was a great wrestler, but yeah, look, I don't think Triple H.
Icebox, what do you mean? More into entertainment. Vince never wanted to call it wrestling. He wanted to call it sports entertainment.
Well, that's
I
not
don't
true.
know.
Wrestling got taken away from Vince by the Panda and the World Wildlife Foundation.
Yeah, but now even the World Wildlife Foundation, I think, doesn't even own WWF.com anymore.
Oh, really?
Something crazy. That's something I heard. I don't know if it's true or not.
Here's look, Triple H is not doing a bad job. I am worried for with Vince McMahon, and you can make an argument the old man could be involved one way or the other, which is a little bit questionable to say the least. But that being said, like the WWE was the WWE under Vince McMahon, right? Like it was never going to go away, be passed down to Triple H. It was going to be like the thing for somebody. And I don't know if TKO is seeing it the same way. And I just don't think you can keep doing what they're doing when it comes to the prices, cutting things. They want to move the training facility with the UFC facility because, UFC is not necessarily doing a great job either. And I worry
See what
about
happened yesterday?
No.
With Hamzat and Strickland?
No.
They had the presser for their big fight tomorrow night, and Hamzat kicked him in the leg. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've been traveling all day, that Strickland has like a hyperextended ACL or something and can't go tomorrow because of a stupid press conference. Sorry, we're getting into UFC territory.
Oh. Interesting. by bringing in social media influencers is more than clicks than it is entertainment, in my opinion. You know what? I think it's somewhere in the middle. Adam, you're right about TKO and wanting stars, and I think you have more influencers that want to hop in the ring, and I think you need to have a better filter when it comes to those things. Like Little Yachty, the stuff that he was doing with Trick Williams on the lead up to WrestleMania, like back in the day, that shit would have never flew. Like
Okay, you just said the S word. Buzz yourself.
I did. I didn't say the F word though.
You are toxic.
So I love Kit Wilson, by the way. I love Kit
He's
Wilson.
the best.
His thing is so good. He needs to get
If
rid
you
of
notice, wait, there we go. There's Kit and Elton Prince up here.
Oh, nice. He needs to get rid of the hip stuff. The hip stuff is too much. But yeah, the music, everything, it's great. Anyways, they need to do a better job filtering these people. And I get IShow Speed. He worked himself into shape to be in the ring. But they used to be few and far in between. And when you brought him in, it was like big. You remember when Bad Bunny came in and that whole PLE in
kendo
Puerto
stick?
Rico? Like Bad Bunny could go, man. That was the match that put Damian Priest over. That's why Priest ended up being a world champion. So
First thing I think of is was it WrestleMania 3, I think, when it was Mr. T and Hulk Hogan, you know? Celebrity involvement has always been a part of WrestleMania and part of the spectacle of it, but it was intended to add value or add like a little bit of I don't know, spice to the event. It wasn't intended to consume the main event. And I think that's where we went wrong in this last WrestleMania, especially.
Well, you can even
so
say
much
that
of the focus was on Pat McAfee and not Randy Orton. Randy Orton didn't get the mic in the last 2 weeks leading up to WrestleMania.
it's a great point, actually. It's a very good point. But then you can point to the booking. You had McAfee beat up before the match even starts. So what was the point? You know what I mean? Like, anyways, yes, you're right. All right, good appearance, dude. Good stuff.
Hey,
good first wrestling.
How much time do we
segment.
got? You probably are going to say we got 0 time. But
No, we got 5 minutes.
Okay. Let's do a quick pick 'em for Backlash and
What was
Backlash.
You do that voice kind of. Do you? Never mind. We're not going there.
Yes, I do.
You do that voice well. You know what I'm talking about.
And Backlash.
All right. So Backlash.
Right. Miz and Kit Wilson versus Danhausen and TBD. Who you got?
Miz and Kit Wilson. They got embarrassed at WrestleMania.
Oh, hell no. Give me Danhausen. You are cursed, Ryan.
Dude, you do good with voices. That's hilarious. That's
I've never unleashed this on you until recently, and you were like, wait a minute. The old guy couldn't do it. Io Sky versus Asuka. I love this match. This is going to be the match of the night, in my opinion.
Okay. I am going to say. See, there's who I want and who I think.
You can
you
say
gotta
both.
Well, I want Io Sky, but I think you've got to, now that Kairi Sane's out of the future, you got to solidify Asuka. So I'm going to say Asuka.
I am also going to go with Asuka on this one, who I've really been enjoying as well as of late. I cannot wait for this match.
I can't stand her character, dude. She's like, Asuka. Like, it's the same.
I think it's evolved more in the last couple of months. and I'm with you. I understand it is difficult with the language barrier.
Oh no, it's
I
not the
love
language
vignettes,
barrier. It's the yelling
the
at.
screaming.
Yes.
Well, I really enjoyed sort of that dopey Kyrie saying, Kyrie! And she would go running over towards her.
She's playing the bully role. Remember how far we've
know,
come?
but-
It used to be like anti-bullying. I think it's still on Cena's shirt. And now you have characters that are bullies. Anyways, go ahead. All right, so you're going Oscar.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
All
gonna
right.
go Oscar
Hit me
as
with the
well.
next. Hit me with the next one.
We've got Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn in the rematch from WrestleMania. The Gingerbread Man versus Whoop That. Let's talk about it.
100% Trick Williams. You?
100% Trick Williams as well. I don't know how true this is, but I saw something that CBS accidentally posted that it would be Trick versus Sammy versus Carmelo Hayes in a 3-way.
Oh,
So
that's
that
true.
could happen tonight.
Oh, you
If
think that might
happens
happen tonight?
Yeah, they might add that in tonight, but it's purely speculation. But we'll
Dude,
see. I think even if it's still the case, Trick's got to win. You cannot take the belt off this dude. He's too hot.
Okay, hold on, really quick though. This is I'm going to take this out of storyline and I'm going to put it in real life. If you're Carmelo Hayes, how bent are you that you were left off WrestleMania?
I think you can make that argument for a few people.
Who else?
Yeah, I mean, Carmelo was on a heater going into WrestleMania, and so that sucks. And I think if they were going to do a triple threat match, they should have done it at WrestleMania. And I think you could still have Trick win and then continue that sort of friendship rivalry that they had with NXT. And continue that on the main roster just to get both of them some momentum. Like Trick just came up. Carmelo's only been here, a year and a half or something like that on the main roster. Did he get over? Yeah, but only in the last few months when he won that US championship. So I think they could still use that rub a little bit never mind. I think they could both benefit from it, but
I agree. All right, so going Trick next.
Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker.
Rollins.
I'm gonna go Braun Breaker. I think Rollins already lost to Gunther at WrestleMania, and I think the losing streak will continue. They will make him a sympathetic face, and I think that helps Braun become more heel.
I don't think you can have Seth lose 2 times in a row, but we'll see. Go ahead. Next.
I think you got to do it. That's
All
my
right.
opinion. Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu.
Roman, 110%.
Yeah, there's no way. Love Jacob. It's not happening tomorrow.
Okay, but and this is kind of my problem is I think you're hurting Jacob by having him be the opponent after Mania. Because what's next? What's next for the rest of the year and next WrestleMania, right? Thanks, Lynn.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, brother.
It's to me, it's like you have to give this guy a big title shot sooner than later, right? And so I think that's what this is. He's not going to win, but you have to get him in that conversation, I think, because Roman will step out at the end of summer, and his June dates have been wiped out now apparently. I don't know what that means. I don't think that necessarily means he's going to lose the title, but he's not going to be in the picture beyond August, right? So SummerSlam, Roman likely drops the belt.
Why is he out of the picture during the summer?
He made a comment that, oh, I'm a part-timer. Well, I'm going to be full-time all the way through summer, up until summer. And so, I think he'll probably go back to his limited appearances come September.
What about Punk?
Well, a lot of people think Punk could be Danhausen's teammate for that tag team match too. Chicago ties. Punk was very generous to Danhausen when he wasn't, who he is today. So it would make sense. Cola Man Phil.
You're killing me. All right, we're wrapping it up. Thanks everybody for being here.
Yeah.
Grant's gonna be back tonight at 7:00. So join him for Open Forum. That's always a good time. He'll be talking about the NBA game that's going on right now, and he'll be talking about the Spurs and whatever else you want to talk about, wrapping up the week, talking about the draft lottery, baseball, etc. As for the draft lottery, I have not talked to Grant, but I would like to do a show for the draft lottery. So make sure that you stay tuned to our X accounts and you're following or at least subscribed to our channel. You'll know when and if we are coming on. For Mark Uso, I'm Rhino in Sacktown. Have a great weekend. Court's dismissed.